Hello and welcome to Just Painting for Fun. My name is David Durrell. Today I'm going to be painting a pumpkin painting for an art party at a local restaurant called Java Dog. Painting will be done in acrylics. I'll start off with a pencil and a ruler to get the position, working with a 14 by 11. Okay, so we'll start by ticking a few measured points on a gridded photo to place the items in the composition. Just a few points are needed, and we can freehand sketch the items. Take a look at the gridded image. Each grid indicates 1 inch by 1 inch on our 11 by 14 canvas. So I just look at the grid, count the measurements, and place them on there with my ruler, just to get a pretty accurate idea of where the items will go. You can also make full-size drawings and trace them on. You can draw it freehand on if you're comfortable with that. You've probably seen artists use their thumb, put their thumb up in front of their face, and doing that to measure relative distances. Now we switch out the reference photo for the color one. Drawings prepared. Go with I like a 3/4 inch angle brush. Probably have the people at the painting party use a round brush for this. It's just easier for most people to handle. Colors, I'm using burnt sienna and Alizarin Crimson at this point. They can use whatever they want. I'll recommend these colors. I've just switched to 3 times the painting speed for the video because I have 15 minutes to do the video, and my goal is 45 minutes to complete the painting in the painting part for the painting party, because I figure if I can paint it in 45 minutes, I can teach somebody how to do it in about 2 hours. So by increasing the speed to 3 times, that's 15 minutes times 3 is 45 minutes. So if I can paint it in 45, which I did, then I can teach somebody else to do it. Right now I'm adding some values in where they occur, trying to keep my pumpkin lines as best I can. Throwing some hints of some of the other objects that are like leaf structures and things that may make it into the final work. A few cloth, there you go, cloth lines where I think they need to be. I'm not sticking with the background that you see there. I'm creating my own in my head. Drawing's nearly done. The value sketch. I'm working wet in wet as best I can with acrylic, so it'll be drying while I'm working on it. I have to work directly because there's just not time to let stages dry in between in order to do like a full value drawing. There wouldn't be time for them to do that in the painting party, and most people wouldn't appreciate the reasoning for it. So we'll just do a little values like I've shown here to establish shading and such. Here I'm adding Phthalocyanine blue and hooker's green to my mixture of burnt sienna and alizarin crimson. Gets me an almost black, very bluish black. Whenever it hits the white, you'll see that it's mostly the blue and the green. And the blue is just so powerful, it's mostly the blue. There you go, you can see it. And that becomes my background shadows. nice contrast to the color that I started with. And it'll be a nice contrast to the pumpkin tones that'll show up later on. I started with the Sienna and the Alizarin Crimson because it's a good shadow color for the pumpkin. I'm doing the mid-tone for the pumpkin color, which is the Cadmium Red, Yellow Ochre, Yellow, the Cadmium Yellow hue, and white, titanium white in this case, and burnt sienna. I'm throwing that on all the gourds and in some of the locations where these will be, and just where I want it in painting in general, just to balance the colors out and move them around. Okay, I've added a little bit of yellow ochre, the cadmium yellow, some titanium white, a touch of red to create this highlight pumpkin color. So I'm actually blending these things a little bit here on the canvas, as the canvas is, since I'm working wet and wet as best I can, because it dries very quickly, of course, using acrylic. Okay, I mixed up a more pale yellow color for my gourds than the actual gourds that I have. Gourds are fake anyway, plastic. It's early in the season, so I wasn't able to get a real pumpkin or real gourds, or I think the pine cones may be real. The leaves aren't even real. So the reference photo is very fake. It's a good starting point, though. I will probably set up the setup that you see here at the restaurant when I do the painting party. But I will probably also give the people who want them photographs to work from if they prefer that. That color is Hooker's Green, Burnt Sienna. There's probably a little blue in there too. Only blue I'm using in this is the Phthalocyanine blue. That's the only one I'll be giving them to work with. So I try and work with only the colors I'm going to give them. I may actually add a real orange, a mixed orange, to the paints I give them, because it's hard to get a decent mixed orange for creating that pumpkin color out of the cadmium red and cadmium yellow. I may do a cadmium orange, actually, since that's probably what I'll end up with. Let them use that for in the pumpkin mix if they want. Show them how to mix it, of course, but alright, I'm doing the background with a mixture. I'm instead of going with the colors that you see in the background there, I'm using a mixture that creates a gray. So it's the blue, the green, a little bit of the cadmium red, some white. Watered it down a little bit and just spreading it all over. This is a complementary color to the pumpkin and somewhat complementary tones to the darker pumpkin and gourd arrangement. varying the tones a little bit as I go along, adding some yellow ochre into the mix, which turns it a little more of a gray-green. Right, I wasn't going to put this leaf in, but I decided it needs it. Need to move a little more to the left, create some interest on that side to keep the diagonal going across the page. It's sort of a diagonal composition. It was looking like it was a little stuffed to the right side without it. During the painting party, I'll have them put in the shadow colors first and then add the leaf over top of those, but in this case I started with the mid-tones, adding shadow colors now because the background wasn't quite dry yet, so I wanted to keep moving. So I started with the mid-tones instead of trying to get the darks to show up without blending in. Adding some shadow back into the other areas, carry that around. I like the balance a little better now, putting in some highlights on the leaf. I spend a little more time trying to get that a little more realistic looking after we get it painted on there. Not for this version, maybe when I'm demonstrating there. Okay, some highlights here and there. Alright, stem highlights. I'm using the leaf highlight mixture with a little more white in it. Carrying that color out into the pumpkin. I'm using the 1/4 inch flat brush on the side, the edge of the 1/4 inch flat brush to do those lines. Alright, making made the gourds slightly more yellow than they are in the photo, which balances out the highlights a little bit more. Move the color around better. Saw a spot where I needed a little more acorn. Okay, let's call it done. Again, my goal was to do a painting party, so I needed to finish in 45 minutes so I could teach it in approximately twice that. Time of the video was 3 times as fast as I painted, so 15-minute video, 45 minutes. Thanks for watching.